Over the last 50 years, DC Comics have produced countless fantastic films. So today we're going to do the ultimate DC movie bracket showdown, brought to you by HBO Max. We got 16 movies all in bracket format to determine the best. So let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comments section. Fill out your own bracket. The different showdowns are listed down below in the description, or here up on the screen is the full bracket that I will be filling out to determine which is the best, and I would love to see yours. Finally, this video is brought to you as a paid partnership with HBO Max. All of the movies discussed in this video are on HBO Max, as well as so much more. They've got a massive library of DC movies and TV shows, as well as a huge library of films in general, from blockbusters, classics, award winners, originals. HBO Max has everything you love in one place, and HBO Max has something for everyone. And as someone with a wife and 3 kids under the age of 10, I can tell you that is true for my household. Their recommendations are handpicked by humans, not by algorithms. You can download your favorite movies onto your devices. You can sign up at the link down below in the description and start streaming instantly. With that said, let's get started with our showdown. We're gonna kick things off with our originals division. Our first showdown will be Superman the movie versus Batman 1989. And right out of the gate, this one is tough for me because both of these movies were so important to my childhood. I don't even remember a time when I didn't have Superman the movie on VHS, and Batman is one of the very first movies I remember seeing in theaters, and one of the movies that kickstarted my love for all things nerdy. Superman the movie essentially invented the genre of the superhero blockbuster. The story was from Mario Puzo, the writer of The Godfather. It's epic in scale. Richard Donner gave it an elegant style and direction and took the source material very seriously, and John Williams' score is one of the absolute best. But Batman 89 was also incredibly important to the genre. Tim Burton brought this amazing sense of style to the genre. Danny Elfman's score is also iconic, and the cast here is absolutely amazing. If I had to pick between the two, I think I'm gonna go with Superman the movie. It's just too important to the genre and such an epic and elegant film. Next up, DCEU standalone films. We've got Wonder Woman 2017 versus Aquaman. 2 movies that I thoroughly enjoyed, but each which has their own distinct flavor and style. Wonder Woman is a period piece set during World War I that takes this Amazonian warrior and kind of puts her in the middle of World War I. It has a fish out of water element to it, has a nice sense of humor, great chemistry between the 2 leads, and some awesome action sequences. Aquaman, on the other hand, is set in the modern time and told with unashamed campiness and fun. The action is shot with wide angle shots where you can see everything that's taking place, and you can just tell they had a ton of fun making this movie. And while it is a ton of fun, it also kind of has this Shakespearean grandeur to the storytelling as Arthur is trying to reclaim the throne of Atlantis. While I thoroughly enjoy both films, I believe I'm going to go with Wonder Woman 2017 on this one. I think it just has a little bit more to say. Next up is Alan Moore Adaptations. V for Vendetta versus Watchmen. Both are based off of highly celebrated comic book runs from Alan Moore, and both are thematically very rich. V for Vendetta is more political thriller than action film, but when the action does kick in, you can tell that the Wachowskis were involved in the project because it's filled with their type of style. It has all sorts of ideas about government and freedom that are just as relevant today as they were when the movie came out, as well as when the graphic novel came out. Watchmen is based off the most celebrated graphic novel of all time. It's a highly subversive comic book tale that raises a bunch of questions as to, would we even want superheroes to exist in the world, or would that actually be more of a problem? And all of it told with Zack Snyder's visual flair. Between the two of them, I would go with Watchmen on this one. I just think it's just such a sweeping superhero epic that it's a great addition to the genre. And finally, in the division, we have animated Batman origin stories with Batman Year One versus Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Now, Batman Year One is a direct translation of the Frank Miller Batman Year One comic book run to the big screen, following it beat by beat, frame by frame. And Batman Year One is one of my absolute favorite comic book runs. Therefore, naturally, I just loved seeing it translated into the animated format. But also, Batman Mask of the Phantasm is a feature-length run of the Batman the Animated Series, which is my personal favorite animated TV show of all time, which is also on HBO Max, and it does a phenomenal job of telling a new Batman story with a new Batman villain, the Phantasm, while also exploring his origin in a nice, efficient runtime. Between the two of them, I would have to go with Batman Mask of the Phantasm because it's just more cinematic in nature inherently. That will complete our originals division, and now we're going to move on to the sequels division. Our first showdown, Superman 2 versus Batman Returns. Now, Superman 2 picks up right where Superman the movie dropped off because the two films were written together and filmed together for the most part. And where Superman the movie laid all the foundation and the origin story, Superman 2 is just a rock'em sock'em superhero movie where Superman has to face down three different Kryptonians. He's having to choose between love and saving the world. It's packed with emotion and phenomenal action. But with Batman Returns, Tim Burton was given even more creative freedom to craft a tale about a series of people rejected by society, all with a comic book Batman skin wrapped around it. The performances are all phenomenal and iconic, especially Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer. The stylization is even more prominent, and you get another phenomenal score from Danny Elfman. Between the two of them, I've just got to go with Superman 2. It is just such a great Superman tale and an amazing companion to Superman the movie. Next up, our clown competition with Birds of Prey versus Joker. Now, Birds of Prey brings this hyperactive storytelling style to the DCEU. It's non-linear, it's told with an unreliable narrator, and all of it is an absolute blast. One of the things I love about this film is that instead of relying on CGI, it's based off practical stunt work, which I absolutely love. But on the other hand, we have Joker, which is this amazing character study where you watch this character of Arthur, who is rejected by society, can't find his place, has no confidence, and we're rooting for him to finally find his place, all the while knowing what that path will lead to. So as you move into the third act, it's just horrifying as he finally accomplishes what we want him to accomplish, but in a way that it's absolutely tragic in nature. It's an amazing addition to the genre with a phenomenal performance from Joaquin Phoenix. Between the two movies, I just gotta go with Joker because it is just such a special addition to this genre. That leads us to 21st century Superman adaptations with Superman Returns versus Man of Steel. Now, Bryan Singer's Superman Returns is an amazing homage to the first two Christopher Reeves films in a quasi-sequel to them. It absolutely captures the tone and essence of those films, but while bringing in 21st century special effects. For example, the plane rescue sequence in this movie is absolutely phenomenal, and it matures the Superman character in a number of ways. Then we have Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, which is a total reimagining of the Superman character in mythology, bringing it fully into the 21st century. Zack Snyder has an amazing knack for the visuals, and this is a Superman movie where you really get to see him punch a bunch of people in the face. Between the two films, I find Man of Steel to be more entertaining and have a bit more emotional oomph to it, so I'm going to go with Man of Steel on this one. Finally, we have our DC Animated Universe showdown with Justice League Flashpoint Paradox versus Justice League Dark Apokolips War. Now, Flashpoint Paradox is based off the Flashpoint Paradox comic book run, and it is just an amazing concept for a Flash story where he changed the timeline to save his mom, and this just led to a string of changes throughout the timeline. Thomas Wayne becomes Batman, and so Flash changes the timeline and interacts with this Thomas Wayne Batman, which I absolutely love. Now, Justice League Dark Apokolips War is an epic Justice League story that's tragic, it's nasty, it's hard R, and it just tells this brutal story about the Justice League losing, having to make a comeback several years later. It has an epic scope and size to it. These are my two favorite movies in the DC animated movie universe. Between the two of them, I'm gonna go with Flashpoint Paradox just because it's such a nice change of pace. I love seeing Thomas Wayne Batman, and of the movies in that animated universe, it is by far the one that I rewatch the most. After round number one, this is what our bracket currently looks like, and now we're going to kick off round two with our originals division, and this is going to be Superman versus Wonder Woman 2017. As much as I thoroughly enjoy Wonder Woman 2017 for the characters, the action, the score, the themes, this is a pretty easy one for me. I have to go with Superman the movie. It is just too iconic for the genre. This is the movie that launched superhero blockbusters, and in so many ways, it laid the foundation for everything that came afterwards. Richard Donner was the guy that cracked the code for how to tell superhero movies that were fun, but at the same time took themselves seriously, so Superman is the victor here. Next up is Watchmen versus Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Now this is a tricky one because they're so wildly different from one another. One of them is a relatively short animated film that's PG and based off of a television show. The other one, in its theatrical form, its shortest form, is nearly 3 hours long, based off a massive graphic novel, and it's a hard R deconstruction of the superhero genre. But between the two of them, honestly, I think I'm gonna go with Batman Mask of the Phantasm. This is just such an amazing version of Batman that is greatly underwatched by a lot of people. It might be short, but it's very efficient in telling a comic book true Batman story that's fresh, new, and original, and the voice talent here is just phenomenal. That'll bring us over to our sequels division with Superman 2 versus Joker. This is another tricky one because these two films mean something so different to me. Superman 2 is a film that I watched on loop growing up. It's just so much fun to see Superman punching and kicking guys in the face. But then you have Joker, which appeared in the middle of the superhero blockbuster boom and did something so different with the genre, and I thought it was executed so well and had so much to say. Between the two films, I think I'm gonna go with Joker on this one, just because it is a film that was such a needed addition to the genre and tackled some really cool ways and did something we just hadn't seen with this genre before. And our final showdown of round two is Man of Steel versus Justice League Flashpoint Paradox. This is a pretty easy one for me. I'm gonna go with Man of Steel. Now, as much as I love the novelty of Flashpoint Paradox, this interesting exploration of different timelines and what could have been, and I love seeing Thomas Wayne Batman, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel is just such a great character study of a 21st century Superman trying to decide his place in this world by being influenced by his two different fathers with societal expectations. I love the fact that technology has finally gotten to the point where we can have a Superman get in big slam bang showdowns, and it looks absolutely convincing on the big screen. So for me, I gotta go Man of Steel here. After round number two, this is what the bracket looks like. We're down to our final four films and our final showdown in the originals bracket with Superman the movie versus Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Here we have the original superhero blockbuster film versus a beloved but underwatched animated classic. Both of them tell great stories about the lead character. Both of them explore the psychology of that character. Between the two films, I just have to go with Superman the movie. This is such a pivotal film inside the genre that just laid all of the groundwork for this genre. Therefore, as much as I love Batman Mask of the Phantasm and what it was able to do for the Batman character telling a fresh new story, Superman the movie is just too important. That'll bring us to our final match in the sequels division with Joker versus Man of Steel. This is a fun one because they're such different films. One of them takes a villain, puts him front and center, makes him a little bit sympathetic, but it's much more of a drama, character study, and very psychological in nature, versus Man of Steel, which allows Superman to finally punch a bunch of people in the face. One of them is an absolute action blockbuster spectacle film. The other one, a serious drama that got attention during awards season. Between the two of them, I think I'm gonna go with Joker here. It's just a film that I thought was very special. A movie that did something so different. It took a character that we've seen on the big screen many times before and found something new to do with him. It took a genre that's saturating the market and found that angle that we haven't explored yet, and in doing so made it stand out in a movie that I just love what it was able to do. After 14 showdowns, we have made it to the finals, and it is Superman the movie versus Joker. Once again, the most wholesome of superheroes versus the most heinous of villains, each in their own films, separated by about 40 years. On the one hand, you have the movie that essentially created the genre and tells it in such a fun, playful fashion while still being epic in nature. And on the other hand, you have a movie that subverts all expectations for the genre, ignores the template laid by Superman the movie, and does something wholly different by putting that villain front and center and making it a tragedy about his descent into madness. Between the two movies, I just gotta go with Superman the movie. Even the reason that Joker works is because we needed something to break from the mold created by Superman the movie that had worked and been so successful for 40 years. It created the entire formula that's been copied and adjusted for 40 years. The score is still one of the absolute best of the genre. Christopher Reeves is still a phenomenal lead as Superman. Richard Donner cracked the code that everyone else used for 40 years and that Joker subverted. So even in Joker's many successes, even it owes a little bit to what Superman the movie did. Therefore, Superman the movie comes in at number 1 in our ultimate DC movie bracket showdown, brought to you by HBO Max. Remember, all the movies discussed in this tournament are available on HBO Max, as well as so much more. Whether you're talking about DC movies, blockbusters, award contenders, classics, originals, all the things you love in one place. You can sign up at that link down below in the description and start streaming instantly. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies too much.